the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Good Tuesday morning to you, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast. We appreciate all of you that join us each and every day, wherever and whenever it is that you join us and make an Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. It's Brett and Faith, as always, here on a Tuesday. Actually, it's a recorded podcast, but we are showing up here on a Tuesday morning for you, and looking forward to a lot to discuss. And again, if you wanted to look at today's podcast, Faith, it would be like a buffet. You got all of these different topics of things that we're going to talk about. So some people might like some things and they might not like others. So it's what you do when you go to a buffet. You get to pick what you like.
Okay, I'm here for the analogies. You've had them all day, so
been rolling all day, all carry over from like yesterday and right on into the morning. So
first one long day for the both of us.
It just drags out. I mean, where's the stop and start? Who cares, right? Nobody's counting. Nobody's looking. All right, getting to business here. We always appreciate our partners, and we always start with Sensagreen.
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call them Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama. Proud supporter of Auburn athletics and a proud supporter of the Auburn Blitz podcast. It's hot. That means AC units are going to be running. If you want something reliable, you're going to want a carrier unit, and you're going to want it installed by Sensagreen because they're going to save you thousands of dollars.
I just got to stop right there. How brutally hot was it when we went to the car yesterday at Baumhauer's after we did the show? I mean, unbelievable.
I was sweating, that's for sure.
And then the cars were we're in two white vehicles and still 800 degrees, it felt like in the car. So, yeah.
White vehicles, black interior. It was hot.
It was. So make sure it won't take you long if your unit's messed up at your house to go find a way to get air working in your house this time of year in the state of Alabama. So go check them out. If yours is broken, go to Carrier. Go get your carrier unit from Sensagreen. You will thank us later. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama, but serving really the state of Alabama and the Southeast. They have projects going on everywhere. And if you are remotely thinking about building a new school, a new building of any type, or renovation, whatever it is, Scout's the company to handle it from the pre-construction phase all the way to the finished product out the door, handing you the keys. They will make sure everything is done the way it should be done. And when you're spending that kind of money, you want to make sure it is done correctly. They'll hold people accountable, and that's why you pay them to do it. Call on Scout Program Management. They will get it done for you.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. If you don't want to go and be outside in the brutal heat, you can go to Bunkers and you can play 27 different sports if you're not good at golf on their golf simulator bays. With that, if you want to just sit and watch, you can just sit and watch and eat some of their great food. They've got TVs everywhere with different sports on them at all times. Great happy hour deals, great food. Bunkers is awesome.
If you can't find something you like on a TV in Bunkers, you're just not going to find it. So,
yeah.
All right, Faith, yesterday we were consumed by the recruiting talk, and
yesterday we've been consumed with it for the past 4 days.
Yeah, we really have. But then yesterday, really, we were the podcast and the show, really, that's all we talked about. So we're going to shift gears off of that
anymore.
Yeah, I'm just worn out from it. And like I said, it is what it is at this point. Hopefully Auburn has a few guys on its radar here in the next few weeks that could possibly commit. We'll continue to monitor that. Again, if you have a comment or something, we're not answering that obviously this morning because it was recorded, but feel free to comment and all the way through the show because we can come back and answer some of those a little bit later on. But I want to start, obviously, realistic expectations, and we have talked about this a good bit. But, looking at the schedule, everything kind of comes back to, what can Auburn do on the field this year? And we kind of briefly ran into this a little bit last week. Didn't go game by game, and I won't spend a ton of time on it. But realistically, what does Auburn's record look like for us now that we're moving into July? And we've analyzed the roster, and we've had a chance to kind of see how spring settled out and what players look better than others, and then kind of based on what some of these other teams are looking like going into the season as well. A couple of different things. We kind of combined several services to come up with kind of where Auburn falls in the middle of all of those. I guess the median percentage on winning these games. We'll start with Baylor, obviously, and I'll just ask you if you think this is high or low. How about that? And everybody chime in and comment away as well. What do you think? But based on the services that we've seen, we've combined. Auburn has about a 65 to 70% chance of beating Baylor on the road when you combine everything and all the different services. Is that right? Is that too high or is that too low? What's your opinion on that one? That's the Baylor game.
I'm going 60 to 65%. That's where I kind of see. So just take it down just a tiny bit, nothing crazy.
Right.
I mean, we've broken down the Baylor game also plenty of times, and they're a good football team. And I think it being definitely the first game of the season, it being on a Friday night, it's going to be a pretty wild game. So I think that game is, both sides have a big, they've got a big, I'm trying to think of an analogy like you use, not hand in the pot, but is it hand in the pot? They both have a dog in the fight. That's
there you go. I was just going to let you roll with it. I didn't want to interrupt you.
But yeah, they both have a dog in the fight. And so I think it's just, I don't think Auburn's going to run away with a 70% chance of winning over them. I think that's a little bit too high. But I still think that they, on the roster.
Yep. Well, I mean, again, you're not far off of where our average is. So
yeah.
So we say that's a win, right? So obviously 65, we'll give that a win for Auburn. So there's one in the win column. And moving on, Ball State, we won't spend a lot of time. I mean, really the average, I know this is crazy, is like 95 to 99%, somewhere around in there. So if Auburn can't come in there and dominate their first home game, then I may be out. Okay. Y'all can hold me to that. It may just be faith on Auburn Blitz after September 6th, because if we don't win that game, I may be done. So, all right. So that's two there. So Auburn off to a good start. Should be the same, but don't sleep on South Alabama. South Alabama has shocked teams in the past, and I know they're coming into Auburn again. It should be one of those where Auburn just lines up, does what they want to do, gets out of there with a convincing win. But again, taking them seriously, 90 to 95% chance probability of winning that game, depending on which one you're looking at, which betting site you're looking at. So that's three, right? So I think we're all in agreement on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now here we go. September 20th, which is a great day, by the way. I'll let everybody figure that out why it is. Oklahoma on the road. And when I look at the average, 50 to 55% win probability for Auburn. Does that shock you a little bit?
I feel like we broke them down just today because we did earlier. I mean, again, Oklahoma, they arguably got the best quarterback out of the portal this past year. We got Jackson Arnold from them. Thank you. I think it being a 50-50 matchup I think that's on target. It's harder. We might have the better roster, but it is harder to go there and play there.
No doubt. And this is the first time we played there.
Right.
And, but I think Jackson Arnold will embrace the opportunity to go back.
I mean, he's already got an advantage up because he's been there before and he's played there before. Again, not with this group of guys, but he knows the atmosphere and everything.
John Mateer being the quarterback for Oklahoma is going to be very scary. I think we talked about Oklahoma's recruiting yesterday. Didn't really break down their team, but we talked about their recruiting, and their recruiting isn't much better than ours. And
Mhm.
a lot of pressure on Brent Venables to turn things around. They only won 2 SEC games last year. So their fan base is not going to tolerate that. So they went out and got the best quarterback in the portal, and they went out and got one of the best running backs in Jade Knott. So we'll see how it all plays out for them. But that's going to be a game where I think both teams, it's really a pivotal point in their season, week 4. I don't know what Oklahoma's schedule is leading into that week, but obviously Auburn wants to be 3-0 going into that game with a chance to go on the road and get a massive, massive win there. So just for optimistic purposes, I'm going to say Auburn gets the win there.
Okay.
And that goes hand in hand with the percentages there, 50 to 55% in favor of Auburn. So we'll say Auburn starts the season off 4-0 based on this. Now, again, just to preface everything, you and I have gone through the schedule a bunch, and we've given our predictions. I think we both picked Auburn to go 8-4, right?
Mhm.
I think we differentiated on some of the losses, but we all settled at 8-4. This is a combination of all of these services coming together with the percentage that they hold on whether they think Auburn's going to win or lose the game. All right, so 4-0 according to that. All right, September 27th, got to go right back on the road and play in a very tough place to play in College Station. Texas A&M. This one is below 50% when you look at the average, anywhere from 40 to 45% for Auburn to have a chance to win that game. And you look at what Texas A&M returns, and they had a massive comeback against us last year in Jordan-Hare. We were dominating them out of the gate, and they were able to come back. And I thought Reed played extremely well to get them back, and they took the lead. Auburn was able to force overtime and get the win in overtime. But this is going to be a really, really tough opponent on the road in their place. And Mike Elko knows that he's got pressure on him too, because they spend a lot of money at A&M. And they've got a very talented roster. But right here, based on these percentages, do you think that is too high for Auburn, too low for Auburn, or right where it should be?
I think it's right where it should be. I know it's going to be a hard game. And think about if a team, their fans storm the field after you lost in a few overtimes against them last year at their home field, you're going to be fired up and ready to go. So, again, there's a lot of just emotion going into that game too. And I truthfully think however Oklahoma goes will really set the scene for a lot of these away games.
There's no doubt. And I want to go back to a point here when we get through the next couple of games that we want to talk about. Remind me of that if I don't come back to it, because I'll stray off somewhere else. All right, so Texas A&M, an L, okay, based on the percentages for Auburn. Then a week off, then back home to take on the Georgia Bulldogs, who we have not beaten since 2017. And, again, Georgia's got a lot of changes on their team too. No Carson Beck, and I don't know what that was. That sounded kind of like Chewbacca. Sometimes
I don't know what she wants right now. Hi.
She's thrown off by the very, very clingy, very excited, Lucy. So just said it's time for me to be on the podcast. There you go. There you go.
Lucy, stop.
She's excited.
I think she's HUNGRY. I'm going to see.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'm going to see if
I'm going to keep going while you handle Lucy for a second.
Yeah, thank you.
But Georgia at home, when you look at the average here, it ain't pretty. 22 to 27%, somewhere around in that neck of the woods. 22 to 27%. Lucy all happy now. She's all good. Okay. She was getting all rambunctious over there, wasn't she?
She was just really excited.
Yes, she was.
She's had a long work day.
She has. She tanked out at Baumhower's yesterday for sure, which is today. 22 to 27% chance for Auburn to win that game.
I mean,
Hard to argue with it.
I don't even want to visit that. She just knocked on my leash. She literally just ran into my door. I guys, I don't even want to like go and visit this whole Georgia game because thinking about that is already making me mad. Because everybody knows I'm from Georgia probably at this point, and so that just grew a really deep hatred inside of me when I was growing up getting barked at. And nothing has changed every time I'm in Athens or anytime I'm around Georgia people and they bark in my face. It makes me.
Is there anything more obnoxious than that, by the way?
No. And so that is going to actually set me off if we lose again, because 2 years ago, we were in like the second row watching that game and we were so close to winning. Was it 2 years ago? I think.
We're talking about Brock Bowers. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And we were so close to winning that game.
Should have won the game. Should have won the game.
Didn't. In Auburn fashion, we did not.
Yep. Figured out a way to lose it. So, yeah, I think we're all – and Jason said this the other day on something that he was talking about, or maybe in all of us talking down at Ambush, that, you know, when Auburn's really good, you know, they got a chance against any of these teams, especially the ones at home, to be favored and to come out and win those games. I know we haven't done that in quite a while with Georgia, but this roster gives Auburn the opportunity to go out on the field, head up, and if they can make some plays, come away with a win. So let's watch, and here's what I wanted to do. Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Georgia, there's an off week there before Georgia, but you don't want to have lost 2 in a row going into off week, going into Georgia.
Yep.
Right? So really this is that stretch of the schedule that you and I and everybody else has circled. If Auburn could get 2 of those 3, I'm telling you, man, it's – then you look at the rest of them. I know we're going to go – Auburn's favored heavily from that point on all the way till the Alabama game. I mean, when you look at it, how important that stretch is, those 3 weeks, really that 4-week stretch because you got a week off. If you get 2 of those 3, man, it is setting up to be a very special season and a season that will live up to and exceed expectations. So, look, I know, the percentage probably is right based on past, but I think the closer we get to that game, that could go up, especially if Auburn's rolled off a couple of wins or one of those 2 wins against Texas A&M and Oklahoma and sitting there with only 1 loss going into that game. Coming into home, Auburn's going to be probably ranked in the top 20 at that point coming into – that game's at night, isn't it? Is that a night game? In the Georgia game? In the Georgia game at night?
I think it is, yeah.
So just thinking back, I mean, how can you set it up to be any better than that?
Mm-mm.
So there's that. So, but as they have that listed as a L, so we'll go with that. And before we go down the line anymore, we'll go to some of our partners here on the program, and we appreciate all of them.
Sure Shot. They've got all your firearm, apparel, and hunting needs. They sell and trade new and used firearms. I was actually just this past weekend out shooting clays, and Sure Shot will be able to help you, even though it's technically not really a hunting season right now. There's always target practicing. And guess what? You can never be too confident in your target shots, and Sure Shot's going to be able to help set you up. So Scott's awesome. Call them at 256-329-0080.
And
Oliver Ross. If you've got a wedding or if you've got a sorority, fraternity event, a convention, anything from 20 people up to 20,000 people, Oliver Ross is going to be able to be the professional bartenders that you need so that you can focus on hostessing and being the entertainment instead of negatively being the entertainment, not being able to bartend correctly and making a fool out of yourself, like Brett says. So make sure you call on Oliver Ross for all your events.
Absolutely. Appreciate all of them very, very much. Talked to Mark last night and doing really well. So go support We appreciate it very, very much. All right. After that, you got Missouri at home. Auburn is a 60 to 65% chance of winning that game. Do you feel like that's about where it needs to be, or is it too high or too low?
I think that's where it needs to be. We keep saying that we're the Missouris.
We are the Missouris.
And I mean, if we're coming off of a loss from
Georgia,
imagine though if it's Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Georgia.
The enormity of a must-win there is so high that you can't even see it. So, again, we're not going to go down that path. We're just going to say Auburn wins the game. They're favored at home. They should win the game. They blew it last year on the road.
Yep.
So, we're going to give them a W there. All right. Arkansas on the road. This percentage is a little shocking to me.
A morning game. How exciting.
Oh, God.
Woo.
Not looking forward to the drive that we have for that one. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Red Bulls and a lot of stopping on the side of the road, trying to stay awake. All right, Arkansas 70 to 75% chance to win that game on the road. Is that too high, too low, or just right?
I want to say it's.
Does it feel high to you?
It feels high because I don't
They
know.
beat Tennessee in there last year. Now, it wasn't a morning game. And I'll say this, outside of last year just blundering the game up and turning the ball over, Auburn has dominated Arkansas on the road and at home. And so I think that's where all of this comes into play, is that our roster is better than theirs. And if our quarterback play is good, I think Auburn goes in there and they take care of business. I mean, they beat us, 21-10 last year, and we had to turn the ball over 5 times?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I was thinking about. Like, just the way that they came in and took care of business. Auburn's played well at Arkansas in the past.
we dominated them outside of last year on the road and at home, just like I said.
Yeah. But I think going there, we're just going to have to be a different team. Think about how many times we keep saying, comparing last year's game to this upcoming season,
Right,
and just
right.
something's got to give. Something's got to be different, because all the games that we keep talking about, we've lost.
Exactly. We lost. Well, when you only won 5,
Yeah.
you ain't got many to pick from that you won. All right, so we're going to say Arkansas, obviously, though, with that heavy a percentage is a win. The next, you come back home to start the month of November. It's Kentucky. It's Zach Calzada, who for some reason has a bunch of angst against Auburn. He came from Texas A&M to Auburn, hurt his shoulder, never played it down, goes to Kentucky, and he's been talking junk about how he can't wait to come to Jordan-Hare Stadium and shove one at Auburn. So, okay.
Because he played a lot on that field, right?
Yeah, I mean, so he's got some built-up anger for some reason. But here is a pretty – I mean, again, this tells you we went to Kentucky last year and bludgeoned them. So this is where a lot of this is coming from. 80 to 85% chance to win at home against Kentucky. And it should be that way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We took care of business up there. I'm hoping that the same thing is going to happen this year. Take care of business at home. But I think that's an on-point percentage.
I do too. I think it's about where it needs to be. All right, here's an interesting one. Go on the road to Nashville, November 8th. Actually looking forward to that trip. Love Nashville.
That'll be fun.
Should be fun. Last time I went 2 years ago when we played up there, we won the game. It was a lot of fun that night out on Broadway, and just had a lot of fun. I'll just leave it at that. But 80 to 85% chance to go and beat Diego Pavia, who Auburn has lost to 2 years in a row.
See, I just hearing his name and
makes you want to throw up.
Seeing that it says 80 to 85% is making my skin crawl.
Too high.
Too high. Too high. And maybe it's just because I'm scared of Diego Pavia.
Well, we haven't been able to solve the Diego Pavia puzzle yet, but I will say this. Last year's win for Vanderbilt had nothing to do with what he did. He sucked.
Yeah.
We couldn't score. We couldn't move the ball. We couldn't do anything. Diego Pavia didn't come in there and light up the scoreboard. We just couldn't handle business and ended up losing the game. So, with that being said, he has still beaten Auburn 2 years in a row. I do think that's a little high. I would side with more of around the 65 to 70% chance.
Yeah.
That feels better to me.
I like that more.
But it's still a win for Auburn. So to go to Nashville with 2 games left on the schedule, you're sitting there with 8 wins.
Yeah.
And then you come home and take on Mercer on November the 22nd. You have another off week between Vanderbilt and Mercer. You have a 95 to 99%, basically 100% chance to beat Mercer. And it should be. I will remind everybody, several years ago when the Bears rolled into Auburn, it took all we could do to beat them. Now, again, we can Auburn up something as much as anybody because that's who we are. But we couldn't do anything right against Mercer. Now, that was a terrible team. That was a terrible year. We snuck a win out, but it was embarrassing. Should be a different story. Game the next to the last game. If you're playing well, you should just be going through the motions, resting your starters in the second half to get ready for the Iron Bowl the next week.
You would hope so. You would really hope so. I just hope we don't Auburn it up, like you said.
That's right. I mean, regardless of how high the percentage, that's a win for Auburn. So that gives us 9 wins according to the combination of these services and their percentages. Okay. That leaves the Alabama game on November 29th, and it's 28 to 32, 33%, somewhere in that range. So a little higher than the Georgia game. So, again, a lot will be known about both of these teams by then, who's injured, who's not, what Alabama's done, what Auburn's done, who you've laid an egg against, who you hadn't laid an egg against. You know, could both of those teams be rolling in with identical records? Could a playoff spot be on the line for both of these teams if both of them are sitting there with 9 wins coming in to this game? I mean, so if Auburn can just take care of business this year, that game could be so massive on November 29th. Is it too high, too low, or about where it needs to be?
I think it's where it needs to be maybe right now, but
it's going to change.
It's going to change. And also, again, the Iron Bowl every single year is a mystery of how it's going to turn out just because of the history behind all of it and the 2 teams that they both are. So,
well, both of us have Auburn going 8-4 with our earlier predictions a couple of months ago coming out of spring. According to this, they have Auburn at 9-3 with a loss to A&M, with a loss to Georgia, and a loss to Alabama. And a borderline could be maybe a toss-up, we'll say a flip of the coin against Oklahoma. So it's right there where we are. But, you know, when you look at the 4 best teams on your schedule, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia, if you go 8-4, I mean, that's still going to be kind of a Now, 8-4 is a hell of a lot better than 5-7. Yeah, and I'll take it. And you are moving in the right direction, but this is a very favorable schedule and a very good roster. So almost going through this kind of makes you go an 8-4 with 4 losses to, especially when you got Alabama and Georgia at home. And that's saying if Auburn doesn't slip up and lay an egg against one of these other teams. So 8-4, 9-3. If you go 9-3, and that means you beat one of those other ones, possibly a Georgia, Alabama, you're probably going to be right on the cusp of the 12-team playoff.
It's a lot more positive than we've been saying lately.
Well, I was tired of all the being in the doldrums, so it was time to pump a little sunshine around these parts. So
We love it.
got to have sunshine. Go away clouds. All the bleakness. We got to have some sunshine around here. All right. Some of our partners before we get off this morning. Old Number One Customs.
Old Number One Customs. If you have an outdoor living space, kitchen, master bathroom, anything of the sort, Old Number One Customs can come in there and fully renovate your whatever it is that you need done in just 2 weeks. They'll be in and out of your house. So don't DIY it in 2 years. Get it done with Old Number One Customs in just 2 weeks.
Hey, go check out their Instagram page, by the way. They just posted a new outdoor living space that they just finished. Unbelievable. Just an awesome thing. So call them 334-752-6162.
JFA Blue Plumbing. Filtered water is just so important considering how much water you should be drinking every single day. This is your reminder to drink a lot of water. And having it just come out of every single one of your pipes and faucets and everything like that is just so much better than it not being. Come on. If you're going to fill up your dog's water bowl out of the sink, you don't want it to be all nasty and turn pink and stuff like that from the hard water. JFA Blue Plumbing will come in there and install Home Atlas Water Filter Duo for just $15.99. So calling them at 844-JFA Blue.
All right, so I lied. I told everybody we were going to have a buffet of all types of topics and stuff, but that took a little bit longer than I wanted to do, and so we'll save that for tomorrow. We'll go around the horn,
or maybe at lunch if you guys want to tune in. Maybe
Yes.
We'll talk some more there about it all.
Yeah, we could definitely could do that. So we'll be at Prime Fitness at lunch today. So right here in Alexander City, looking forward to that. Going to be a fun time going out and hanging out with Tom and Riley, and a awesome facility they have out there at Prime Sports and Prime Fitness. Faith, it'll be your first opportunity to check it out, so I know you'll enjoy it, especially the workout side of things over there with Riley. She does a really good job. One of the top, she won an award. Maybe we'll talk to her about that. Statewide award, being one of the best workout leaders basically in the state. So
Well, I'm excited.
talk to her about that, and she is very good, no doubt about it. But we'll be out there and looking forward to it. Yeah, again, we appreciate all of you. We went over 10,000 subscribers this past weekend. We appreciate all of you very much, and couldn't do it without you. Continue to help us grow and spread the word, pass the word along. If you haven't subscribed, go out there and do so. We would greatly appreciate it. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for us this morning. And as always, we hope all of you have
The best day ever.
and a big old
War Eagle.